Hi all. You are on the channel Epic Scenes from the film. This is the film without remorse. Enjoy watching. The story begins in Aleppo, where a group of U.S. Navy SEALs are on a mission. According to Tsuru employee Robert Ritter, the purpose of the mission is to free his colleagues with the call sign RDI, who are currently being held hostage by the Syrian military. Having received instructions, Petty Officer John Kelly leads his group into battle and soon frees the prisoner. After achieving the success of the mission, the hero decides to expand the pockets of the enemy fighter and is surprised to find in them information that the deceased soldier of the Russian army was Obrighter's command to leave. John leads the fighters along the corridor, where suddenly an RPG attack occurs from the Russian military, after which they find themselves in a counteroffensive. Quite soon, John finds out that they are in a weapons warehouse, and in front of them are not Syrian mercenaries. When the squad fails, you go out into the street and sit down. Helicopter, where John Kelly accuses Ritter of hiding information and brings his fighters closer. The team leaves the dangerous sector, and the building itself starts bombing. 3 months later, John is relaxing with his wife Pamela at a party in Washington and discussing plans for the future with friends. The happy couple is expecting a child, so he left military work to spend more time with his family, and at this very time the other 2 members of his squad, who participated in the Syrian operation, are killed unknown. Returning home in the evening, a tired Pamela goes to bed, and John goes to the living room to have a snack and listen to music. After a bit of weather, light shines into the house, after which several well-armed men enter it. John hears their footsteps, armed with a pistol, and follows them. As a result of killing the second and shooting the third, he himself also receives serious injury. In the end, the wounded enemy managed to escape. John, with the last of his strength, made his way into the bedroom and saw that the guards had managed to kill his wife. The man comes and regains consciousness in a hospital bed next to the bed. Waiting for him, Lieutenant Commander Karen Greer is concerned that this is the 3rd member of her special squad to be attacked in the last 24 hours. John asks her about the attackers and says that they were clearly difficult robbers. He then asks to tell him the name of the person behind it all, but Karen knows nothing. After a while, John is on the mend. A minister named Clay invites Karen and Ritter's agents to his place to discuss what happened. During the discussion of the investigation materials, it became known that everyone whom Kelly killed in his home was associated with the FSB, and it is likely that all 3 attacks on special forces were carried out by Russian fighters in retaliation for their operation in Aleppo. For reasons of national security, the head of the SRU has already closed this case, not counting provocations. After the meeting, an outraged Karen visits John in the hospital to inform him that Tsuru will not be investigating Pamela's murder. Then the career of the woman who gave the soldier the dossier who shot at his house and mentions the former FSB officer Andrei Vasiliev, who helped the Russian enter the United States and probably knows where the escaped surviving soldier is hiding, is at risk. Soon the heroes return to an empty house, where they mourn their wife and unborn daughter. Then he decides, no matter what, to take revenge on the killers for his broken life and develop a plan. Pretending to be drunk. John goes to Vasiliev's office, but the guards chase him away. Then he decides to follow the agent's car, following him along the highway, and at some point crashes into his car at a turn, blocking Vasil's exit. Without wasting any time, John sets his car on fire, then gets into it. Using a pistol, he manages to knock out from Vasiliev the name of the one who killed his wife. After which the soldier leaves the burning cars and surrenders to the police. The next morning, Karen visits John in prison and tells him that his superiors are unhappy with his actions, to which the man replies that now they will play by his rules. The hero asks to convey a message to Minister Clue that he knows something about the attackers, and if he is pulled out of prison, he will gladly share this information. Later, sitting in the cell, John hears some noise and becomes wary, because in this prison his enemies can easily get to him. Suddenly, an officer appears who wants to take him for a walk, but the hero refuses, and then Troy of armed guards breaks into his cell. The brave soldier manages to defeat everyone and forces the attackers to leave him. After a short period of time, a policeman comes for him and, on Karen's orders, takes him from prison, accompanied by a motorcade. John arrives for a secret meeting with Minister Clay, Saru head Sarah Dillard, and Agent Ritter. They all want to hear about what exactly John knows, and then the hero tells them the name Viktor Rykov. He was the same shooter who killed Pamela. Dillard says that Rykov died, but still. John recognizes him. In one of the photographs, the writer replies that Rykov's identity is classified. According to them, he is somehow connected with FSB intelligence and has a network of embedded agents in the United States. If he is still alive, he should be found and arrested. Hearing this, John asks to join the team and, with the approval of the minister, receives permission with only one condition. When the mission is completed, he will return to prison as a criminal. At the moment, Rykov is hiding in Russia, so Karen, John and several soldiers go after him under the guise of civilians on a passenger plane, so as not to attract unnecessary attention, and Gent Ryder refuses to fly with them, preferring to meet the detachment already at a secret base in Murmansk. As the team flew over the Barents Sea, their plane was suddenly intercepted by a Russian fighter jet demanding that they immediately head to Murmansk airport. The pilot refuses, after which his plane is shot down and falls into the water. John, despite Karen's protest, dives for equipment and miraculously retrieves the boat, nearly drowning. Under the cover of darkness, the squad reaches a secret shelter in Murmansk and discusses the current situation. John begins to suspect Ritter of sabotaging the mission, thinking that their plane was shot down for a reason. He recalls how Ritter had previously refused to open an investigation into the shooting at his house and said that Rykov was dead, and he was the only one from the team who flew separately. With these thoughts, the soldier breaks into a secret room, where Ritt is discussing something with two Russians and demands answers to his questions from him. The agent states that he flew in to complete the mission to capture Rykov, as he thought that the entire team had died in the plane crash. He hired these people to show him the criminal's hideout. The angry John still restrains his emotions and soon, together with the squad, heads to Rykov's apartment and gets inside. The soldier suddenly notices that two of Rykov's guards are dead, and Rykov himself, hung with explosives, is sitting in a chair, waiting for him. The man stuns John by admitting that he is, in fact, an employee of the Central Intelligence Agency, and assures him that he was not the one who planned the murder of his family. Rykov then says that they are both pawns serving the same king, after which the Invisible One blows himself up. Snipers suddenly begin to fire at the team and wound one of the squad members named Dallas. With difficulty, his comrades manage to determine his location and eliminate him, but in the corridor another begins to shoot at them. Karen manages to reach him and eliminate him, after which the team goes down to the lobby. By this time, the police and soldiers had already surrounded the buildings. John tells Karen that everything that happened to them is someone's planned operation, and, apparently, someone is trying to start a war between countries. The hero orders the squad to flee, and he himself climbs onto the roof and begins to fire at the police, diverting their attention to himself, which allows the rest of the team members to leave the building unnoticed. Firing back, John returns to the building and descends the lobby, fighting off Russian soldiers along the way. There he manages to distract the enemies with an explosion and change into someone else's uniform. After which the fighter also leaves the building and joins his team on the pier. Soon the boat leaves the territory of Russia, and our hero asks Ritter about Viktor Rykov. He turned out to be a mere pawn in someone's game, and it would be difficult for the main instigators to reach him. Ritter advises John to take the money hidden below deck and disappear. Maybe then, if John becomes a ghost, they will be able to find out who is behind it. The soldier thanks the agent and apologizes to him for suspecting him earlier. Sometime later, John ambushed Minister Clay in the toilet, and he was extremely surprised by his appearance. John states that he wants to convey important information and tells the minister that the recent operation was controlled by the CIA from Washington, the purpose of which was to incite a conflict with Russia. Seeing that Clay was not at all surprised, John kidnaps him. Clay later wakes up in the car and John threatens his family and forces the minister to confess why his family had to suffer. Clay explains that the conflict with Russia was necessary to help the economy and to unite the divided American people in the fight against a common enemy. John's commando team was needed only as a diversion so that no one could suspect the government in rage and with words. You had no right to take so much from me. The soldier turns the car to the side and falls off the bridge into the water, drowning, and John is saved by Karen. After this event, John is considered dead. Later, Karen sees John off at the station and gives him a new passport, and Ritter gives his superiors the recording of Cloy's confession in the post-credits scene. A year later, John returns to Washington and meets with Ritter, to whom he tells about his decision to create and lead an international counterterrorism team so that what happened will never happen again. And here you will find even more stories. Subscribe, because everyone is interested in us. See you soon.